This program is for discussion purpose only. Business Plus TV or any of our anchor does not bear any responsibility or liability towards the content.
नाज़रीन, वेलकम टू द मार्केट शो। मैं हूं अली नासिर। आज जिस मौजू के ऊपर गुफ्तगू करेंगे ये बड़ी मुनफरिद नौइयत का है। बात यह है कि हमारे मुल्क के अंदर बहुत सारे लोग ऐसे हैं जो दूसरे ममालिक जाना चाहते हैं, वहाँ की शहरियत लेना चाहते हैं। बात तो बड़ी नाजुक नौइयत का है और आपको पता है मेरी राय इसके मुतालिक क्या है। ताहम फिर भी तालीम की खातिर हमें ये समझना ज़रूरी है कि ये किस तरह से किया जाता है। दूसरा एक बड़ा अहम सवाल है, अगर यहाँ से पाकिस्तानी दूसरे ममालिक जाना चाहते हैं, वहाँ जाके रहना चाहते हैं, शहरियत लेना चाहते हैं, तो बहुत सारे ऐसे लोग होंगे जो दूसरे ममालिक से पाकिस्तान भी आना चाहते होंगे और यहाँ की शहरियत भी हासिल करना चाहते होंगे। तो यहाँ क्या अट्रैक्शन है और क्या हम अपनी शहरियत देने के लिए भी राज़ी हैं जो हम सारी दुनिया से शहरियत मांगते फिरते हैं? हमारे पास अपना भी एक ऐसा प्रोग्राम होना चाहिए जिसके ज़रिए हम दूसरे लोगों को अपने मुल्क की तरफ अट्रैक्ट करें, कशिश पैदा करें, सरमाया भी लाएँ और उन्हें भी लेकर आएँ। The brightest minds in the world are right now heading to very successful countries. So if we want to succeed, we have to get brightest minds and a lot of money into this country. हमारे साथ बड़े अहम मेहमान आज शामिल गुफ्तगू होंगे। तारुफ कराता चलूँ, फिर अंग्रेज़ी में आ जाऊँगा क्योंकि इनकी पसंदीदा ज़ुबान तो शायद उर्दू हो, लेकिन जिसके अंदर ये ज़्यादा बेहतर अंदाज से आपके साथ राब्ता कायम कर सकेंगे वो अंग्रेज़ी होगी। जनाब आइवन सैमसन साहब, and he is a global immigration lawyer. Welcome to the show.
शुक्रिया, मेरे को बहुत खुशी आई कि आपने मेरे को आज इनवाइट करा।
Ivan Sampson, first of all, I have certain questions, and the first question that comes to my mind is that before starting the program, we were also doing a discussion. Every person that I meet, and I'm sure it may be the case with you as well, wants to go to another country. That's my observation. It could be completely wrong, but wants to go to another country for a better life, and I think they always believe that the grass is always greener on the other side. It may not be true always, but they want to exercise that option. Why do they want to exercise that option, and what is the reason that they want to migrate? Is it the right decision for them to make, and where should they go? It's a very broad question, and that's why I want you to talk in detail about
Sure.
it.
Thank you very much. It is an important question. I've been here for 4 days in Karachi and I've enjoyed it very much. My driver, Ishmael, he's been driving me around. And what he talks about for the last 4 days, about how do I leave Pakistan? And that's all he's interested in. And so I asked him, and the response he gave, I expected those responses because I've heard it time and time again. And the reason is, number one, the word is security. That's the core reason people simply don't feel safe. They don't feel safe for their loved ones. And the second thing is opportunity for jobs, education, employment, so forth. So those are the two core reasons. And I visited a client, because I do free work as well, and I'm helping a client with a family matter. She lives in a very poor part of Karachi. And I visited her, and we had to, there was no lights for 4 hours. No lights at all. So I was using my iPhone light so that I could see her. Now, inconvenienced me for a few hours, fine. This is a daily occurrence for people here. Now, if it's happening on a daily basis, and there's no hope that it's not going to end, that's the reason people want to leave. So that's a question for the politicians. Now the second...
Are you an emotional man, Ivan?
I'm a caring person, and if that means I'm emotional, then yes, I am.
Because I can see that you felt for the client, or you
I
felt
did.
for the lady.
I did.
It is indeed a question of hope. It is indeed a question of hope.
We're in April, yes. Temperature about 30 degrees. Another 3 or 4 months, it's going to be in the 40s, mid-40s. Can you imagine what the existence is then?
I mean, it makes perfect logic for someone who does not see light at the end of the tunnel to perhaps I won't use the word escape, perhaps to move to a better place. And I think that's the rationale that is given by most of the people who want to go abroad.
Yes, I think.
Do you think that's the only one? Security and safety. One is that you put opportunities there.
Yes, and those are the key reasons. I agree with you. But you see, it's not always the best decision for a person. And when I sit down with a client and my client says, I want to leave Pakistan, the first thing I ask is, why? And where and how? Those are the three things I want to know. And quite often I'll say, it's not right for you.
Really?
Oh, absolutely. Look, let me tell you, my elderly clients, you know, and I don't mean to be age discriminationist, but let's say over retirement age, let's just say that. Moving to another country is not the best for them. You know, to adjust to life in, let's just say, Canada, America, or UK, or European country, where they're stuck indoors all the time, they've got to do everything themselves. The lifestyle they have here, they do not have it in these countries, let me tell you.
Yeah,
and so, if anything, they're living the last parts of their lives not very happy.
But do they actually end up getting social security in these countries? Do they get the kind of welfare facilities that they're looking forward to in case they become citizens? Because at that age, I don't think countries would be willing to take senior citizens. I also don't want to discriminate on age, but you know that other countries feel burdened, they feel their social welfare system burdened if senior citizens start coming to their country.
Well, they do, and that's why the UK is a good example. In the last year, there have only been 11 successful applications for elderly parents. 11. Go back 2-3 years, there were thousands. And what the UK has done is, the answer is yes, they do get social security. If they've got no one to look after them, they'll get provided a house, a carer, income, and also a regular income for them to live on. So what the government does is it makes it harder for you to actually get here. And that's been the policy of the UK government for unskilled workers. So what they're trying to is stop Pakistanis actually getting here to get those benefits. And that's been the focus of Theresa May and her government for the past 5 years or so.
I think that makes pretty good sense, because we do know that a lot of people from, I won't say Pakistanis alone, but a lot of Asians are pretty heavy on the exchequer in Britain.
They are.
With reference to social welfare.
It's
they enjoy
worse.
council housing, and they enjoy.
It's worse than that. There's a scam going on. I mean, I've seen people. What they do is they would have brought their elderly parents over, throw them out the house, literally within a week. The government then has to house them, because for elderly dependents under the rules they get settlement, not a visa, indefinite leave to enter. So once they come in, you can't remove them unless they do something really bad in the country. So what they're doing is they were putting them on the streets. Government has to house them, and this is absolutely true cases. I won't go into details who it is, but I'm not allowed to. But then they take the parents back and rent the house out. It goes on. So I don't blame the UK government. You know, that's
very unfortunate.
It is, but you know, where there's a loophole, you know, we as Pakistanis are very good at finding it. You know, as I always say, agar सीधी उंगली से नहीं काम होता तो टेढ़ी करनी पड़ती. And it's unfortunate, but
now you're saying the rules are becoming a bit more strict.
Yes.
So for not allowing people to misuse the welfare system, which I think is pretty good in the United Kingdom. Let's be very frank.
It is.
They take care of their own.
They do.
They take care of their own. Now let me come to another aspect. The natural reason why even the state here or the country here prefers that we export manpower. Okay, we have a genuine reason to say that. We've been doing that. We've been sending people to the Middle East who have been doing a lot of work. They have not been getting any citizenship there. Let's be very frank. These are countries that share commonality. I won't say ethnic, but they share the same set of values. You do understand the sensitivity of the conversation here.
Yes, I do.
They share the same values. However, we don't get citizenship there, even if we stay there for a very long period of time, except in few cases, which is, I would say, a minuscule number of people who actually get that. Now, when you go to a Western country, let's say a European country, the United States or Canada, if you work there, there's a good chance that you'll get a citizenship.
Yes.
Am I correct?
It is correct, yes.
Versus the Middle East.
I'll just touch on the first point first.
Yeah.
I'm based both in Dubai, London and Pakistan. Those are my 3 core areas where I live, and I spread my month in those 2. Many Pakistanis in Dubai, let's say, have been there 20 years plus, successful businesses, employing 100 plus people, some of my clients. They know the minute they stop working or retire, they've got to leave. And it's like a ticking bomb for them. And again, no disrespect to the standard of living here, we're all realistic. The standard of living that they're used to in Dubai, not the same here. And so for them and their children, the parents can normally come back because they were born here and they've been raised here. But for the kids, it's nigh impossible. मुश्किल है कि बच्चे उस स्टैंडर्ड से, उस लाइफस्टाइल से
निकल कर पाकिस्तान आए। हाँ, सही कह रहे हैं।
And I tell you, it makes a difference. मेरी पैदाइश पाकिस्तान में थी. For me, you know, I'm all right with it because I feel connected. These kids don't feel connected.
They're not.
And
in
so
fact, they're disassociated.
They absolutely hate it. So we
didn't want to say that, but you know that's becoming a harsh reality now. Unfortunately, but that is becoming a reality.
It's my experience from the people I've met. It's not maybe not generally everyone, but my experience. So we provide a solution for them to go somewhere else before the bomb explodes. And so a lot of my work is actually not in Pakistan. It's in countries like the Middle East. The only country that gives citizenship, actually, just to correct, I'm sorry, is Bahrain. Bahrain does. Yeah. Apart from Bahrain, no GCC country gives you the right to live permanently. And so a lot of my time is spent with Pakistanis, Syrians, Afghans, Palestinians, Iranians, helping them to choose which country. Yeah. Where can we go?
Now let me put another more sensitive thing out here on the table. Many people are actually very upset with the social structure that exists in our country. They feel that the lack of openness in society, the more, I won't use the word extremism, but the extremity of people's views on certain things regarding what you wear, how you dress, where you go, or how you live, is something that's very personal. But you do know in our society it's a collective issue.
Yes.
People are not concerned about other people's problems, but they certainly are very critical of other people's lifestyles.
Yes.
Now, I was just talking to a lady the other day, and she said that she was from another country, one of the countries that you were mentioning, that her country's government is extremely strict when it comes to enforcing your social behavior as a citizen.
Yes.
And she said she would be better off living in a foreign country.
Yes.
Do you think that's also one of the reasons why most people, some of the people want to leave?
Yeah. You know, behavior is not the problem. It isn't. Really, it isn't. And I'll just...
You do understand because of the sensitivity of the conversation.
I hear what you're saying, but really behavior isn't the problem. If you take a Pakistani who, in your words, is, let's say, has a behavior problem, the way that he or she conducts herself, put them in Dubai. I promise you, they stand straight in the line. The same person, right? Same behavior. You put them in Dubai.
They would adhere to the laws and the values there.
Absolutely.
We'll just have to take a short break and we'll come back and we'll continue our discussion. Let's take a short break.
Thank you.
नाजरीन, वेलकम बैक आफ्टर ब्रेक। हमारी गुफ्तगू जारी। हम बात कर रहे थे कि क्या वजह है कि जो पाकिस्तानियों की अक्सरियत तो मैं नहीं कहूँगा, लेकिन बहुत सारे लोग पाकिस्तान से दूसरे ममालिक की शरीयत लेना चाहते हैं। हमारे साथ आईवान सैमसन साहब मौजूद हैं, जो कि एक बैनुल-अक़वामी सतह के इमिग्रेशन लॉयर हैं, और ब्रेक पे जाने से पहले इन्होंने बड़े एहसन अंदाज में चंद नुकात की तरफ निशानदही की। तो नाउ आई वांट टू कम ऑन दिस वेरी सेंसिटिव इशू, आईवान, दैट आई हैव बीन नोटिसिंग दैट क्वाइट अ फ्यू पीपल डू गो अब्रॉड. They settle down, but even if you meet them after 20 years, they haven't learned the local language, they haven't got used to the local environment, they don't know what the pub is, they don't want to go near it, and I won't either, for the sake of the conversation. But the problem is they don't know how Western society works. Because of that, they don't get the same amount of opportunities that people from other countries that may not share the same values as that country, but quickly acclimatize. We, on the other hand, take a lot longer, because let's put it in a positive way. A lot of Pakistanis go from Pakistan to another country, they're ambassadors of this country. They become British Pakistanis, like Amir Khan, the boxer, right? So he's a kind of pride for this country. But the problem is these people adjust to that society. Many people go from here, but they don't adjust to that society. What do you have to say about that?
I think it's important to understand your identity, who you are. And I don't think it's right personally. I can only speak personally. I'm not here to talk about other people. Personally, I would not want to lose my identity if I went to another country. And you know, I'm a Christian, okay, and I live in a Muslim country, but my identity is a Christian, which is absolute, and I will preserve that. Now, I was talking to a group of 5 boys day before yesterday, and I said to them, what is it you want? Is it your religion's most important to you? Is it your job? Is it what, you know? And they said to me, what they want is rights. They don't care what religion you are, if you're gay or straight or whatever. They don't care about that. What they're looking for is they want rights for citizens, fundamental rights. Your identity is who you are. That's yours to keep and yours to practice, so long as you're not harming anybody else. But what people really want is rights, and what they get in abroad is these fundamental rights. Yeah, and the rights I'm talking about is the same: right to security, job, opportunity, fairness, justice, equality, all these fundamental basic principles on any decent constitution, any country with a decent constitution has, or a Bill of Rights has. That's what they want. So in terms of, do I have to be a British person? I don't go to pubs. I don't. It's not the place I like. But if you want to go to a pub, it's entirely up to you. So, you know, that's your business. But I think that's what people want. But you are right. The perception in the UK is that we've got to be like them. Yeah. We don't. We're Pakistanis. We have a different setup here. We have a culture. Our family structure is different. You know, the way we speak, you know, they call you.
Pakis.
Yeah, we are. And I'm proud of it. हम लोग आप कहते हैं. I know anyone older than me, whether he's sweeping the streets, I call him uncle. Why? Because my dad taught me that. You know, it doesn't matter if he's a sweep. Even my uncle, you know, the guy who opens the door of the hotel, Assalamu alaikum, uncle. Well, he's older than me. I would say that to him. Good values, really good values, and we should actually bring those to the UK. That's what I think. They could do with some of it. So, and then some of their values are good for us.
Yeah.
You know, and we can see what the good values are and use those. We all want
because it's all done in the positive sense.
Absolutely.
Why not look at it positively?
Absolutely.
I say most of the people who go from here represent this country.
Absolutely.
And once they go there, and we do know that the mayor of London might just be a person from Pakistan.
Wouldn't that be brilliant?
Maybe.
Wouldn't that be brilliant?
Would be. But what is even more brilliant is that that country is willing to adopt, number one, number two, adapt, number three, acknowledge, recognize, and then give people the right job just because of their qualification, not because of the color of the skin.
You know, whether Sajid Khan becomes mayor or not is neither here nor there. What's important is he has an opportunity.
The other one also has a Pakistani connection, just to let you know.
Okay.
The other one is also does have a Pakistani connection. He's the ex-brother-in-law of Imran Khan.
Yeah, Imran Khan.
Ex.
The important thing about these, Sajid, for example, is that he has an opportunity. That's what's to be celebrated. Whether he's a good person to canvass votes, that's down to him and his party.
But the important thing is that's what attracts people
Yes.
to go to that country.
Yes.
Because they know that they might not be from that feudal background and they may not come from that kind of
Yes.
you know, upbringing,
Yes.
but they could go to a new country.
Absolutely.
And they could adopt a new citizenship.
Indeed.
And then they could actually be running the state there.
Yes.
I think that's pretty big. I think that's very important.
I mean, I can share my own life. My mother was working. My mother was a nurse. What she did. I grew up not in a flash house. I didn't live in the best part of town. I didn't go to the best school. But you know, while all this is going on, I was like that studying because I saw the opportunity. So that's what we want here. We want children to have that attitude. They see an opportunity and then they can, you know, really focus and work hard to achieve it.
Now, I'll just reverse the equation here and just reverse my statement as well. Now, does Pakistan also have an investment program by which it could attract citizens to come here, invest in our country, and you do know that we are in pretty bad condition when it comes to foreign direct investment. We need the money, okay?
We do.
If Western popular successful countries are willing to accept people just for investment, I think there's no harm for Pakistan to accept them as well.
Absolutely.
Why are people not coming to Pakistan?
Well,
except for the reasons that you've already stated.
That's a very good question. It's an excellent question. Look, why do Pakistani want to go abroad? Because they want two things, what we discussed before, and the visa, right? That's what they want. So what would encourage people to come here? Not the visa, I doubt very much, because they tend to live in countries which higher standard of living. So we've got to identify things that they want. And businesses, shareholders want one thing, profits. That's what they're interested in. America, for example, allows you to invest, but it chooses where you can invest. It gives you, well, it gives you an advantage to invest in areas which have high unemployment, high crime rate, low opportunities. It encourages you. I went to a talk with the Prime Minister of Macedonia. We had a business dinner with him. He was telling me, come to my country, I will give you a factory. I won't even charge you rent. I won't tax you for 5 years. I'll supply you with workers, educated workers, who've been educated abroad. And all Macedonians get free education abroad, by the way. So, like Saudis, if they go abroad, the government pays for it. Yeah. So, I'll give you all of this, come and invest. And he had showed me pictures of factories, empty factories, ready for my clients to move into. Now, imagine if we had that. Imagine if we could say to people, come and invest in 300 million people. You know, 95% of people in Pakistan haven't got insurance.
But that's Alexander's country, right? True. Makhdonia, Nazreen Makhdonia ki baat kar raha hai Macedonia.
You know, the 95% of people in Pakistan haven't got life insurance. So imagine an insurance company outside looking for a market. You know, it's heaven for them. There's so much opportunity. So we need to identify the markets, make it easier for businesses to come here, provide the skilled workers, which we have plenty of, very highly, you know, Pakistan is very mathematically orientated, good at computing, analytical. Everyone speaks English. So we need to provide
or wants to learn it.
Or wants to learn
it.
Yeah, absolutely. So and then tax breaks, no tax, that would be, and that's just,
wait.
Let's not talk
I'd say that's very vague.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can say no tax for some.
For a period to allow them to invest. So, and what will happen is, because what happens with investment is and I was looking at the Cambodian report this morning, and Cambodia's had a 7% increase in GDP this year.
It's been phenomenal growth there.
Amazing growth. And on the back of that, the offshoot of that is their health services improved, education is improved, the standards of the children's results in the school have improved, direct result of the investment. So that's not the government saying let's put more money into education. The country's doing better, more jobs, they're spending more, they can send their kids to good schools, they can buy better books, have private tutors. These are all the things off the back of investment.
I'd just like to stop you here.
No, of course.
You were talking about education. Now, that's something that's really important. People are really, really very concerned about their children's education. Now, that is one of the reasons why people fly away. You're saying that might be a reason why people might like to come here in case we develop our education. You do know how well India is doing in that.
Yes.
They're getting a lot of people from outside into their own country.
They are.
It's you could call it educational tourism if you want. Because it's got a lot of health tourism, educational tourism. do you think, do you see an opportunity here where
there
we
is,
can even get people here temporarily just to, you know, boost the business?
You know, have you heard of the school Aitchison College?
Yeah.
Well, you're from Lahore, of course you would know that. If you try to get into that college, it's easier to get into Eton than to get in Aitchison these days, because the standards are so brilliant. You know, to get
major issue
the facilities and opportunity is fantastic. India has schools where English people send their kids to.
Really?
Absolutely, absolutely.
I don't believe that.
It's absolutely more than that. There's a school in Wales which Indians have set up, because like you have English schools in Dubai, what the Indians have done is have put their schools in the UK, because their system of education is so good. And remember, it's based on the English system. That's where
it is.
Yeah. So that's the core of it.
That's the major advantage that we're missing out on. I mean, we're putting people in there. I mean, that's the only thing that I think is missing in this system. We just don't realize that speaking a foreign language is a major asset for any country.
Absolutely.
Now, we have so many people, but we put them at the back. But we get all the people whom we think are intellectuals but cannot converse with the world. It's just like having, that would be discrimination for me to say that, but someone who can keep on saying what they want, but the world won't understand what they're saying.
Yes. Yes.
There's a word for it, but I didn't say it.
Yeah. And I agree with you. But no, I think there could be schools like this here. But what about people who can't afford it? What about them? What if you can't afford a private school? How do you educate your child for that? Because the majority of this country, you know, you say people can read and write. The reality is, what I would call effective reading and writing, not being able to write your name, is it's like about 10%. You know,
it's pretty bad.
It's pretty bad, right? So, am I allowed to say that? But I think, you know, we need to think about taking back control of the education system in this country. The government just taking back that control. Because, you know, we need to educate the masses to make this country develop. You won't do it by the 10%.
Do you know that primary school education, elementary education, secondary education, university education is right now the major issue for any political party fighting an election in Europe, fighting an election in Britain, fighting an election in the United States of America. So now the people who are vying to become the president of the United States are all talking about the education system. Whereas in this country, we're concerned about Panama Papers, we're concerned about stuff that's completely unrelated. So we're never talking about social welfare in this country. And I think that's the only, I think social welfare is the primary reason why people want to move abroad. And when they go into those countries, they're disconnected with their own political system. I've seen a lot of Pakistanis, they're there, but they're watching like all the local channels and thinking about the politics here. And I keep telling them, don't watch our channels. Be a part of their political system.
No, I agree with you. And the core reason is...
I know I'm putting you in a difficult situation.
No, that's absolutely fine. Parents want the best for their kids.
They do.
That's a universal trait of every parent.
It is.
They want the best for their children, no matter where you go in any country. And the starting point of that is to have a basic education.
It is.
To identify the skills of the child, and then that child can then go on to do what it's good at. And then kids good at mathematics, kids good at math, that's where the line, usi line mein jayega, right? That's the problem.
But we're all born engineers and born doctors and born businessmen and born entrepreneurs because our fate is decided beforehand.
Yes.
That's one of the reasons why most people go to other countries.
Yes.
Because they don't want their fate to be pre-written.
Yes, and I agree with you. And
I hope that, because it's a psychological issue, I can tell you, a lot of people don't think they can do it in Pakistan. They think they can do it somewhere else.
But you know, I think language is really important. And I'm not a idealist. You know, that's not what I consider myself to be.
It is a primary argument in this country right now.
It is, but language is important.
Yes, it is.
And I do feel that sometimes when I'm talking to clients about the country, and I think, well, it's not right for you to go abroad. And some clients, it's absolutely right. And the reasons they give is that the loss of hope. But there is hope. So long as we have a breath in our body, right, there are people in this country who have hope. And I've looked at the investment in properties in Karachi. Amazing.
It is.
Amazing. Who would have thought Emaar would be building in Karachi, right? You know, when people say the security, but who would have thought they'd be pumping in millions of pounds into Karachi? It's happening.
I'm not talking about Park Lane or
Yeah.
Bond Street
No,
or other
no.
stuff, but I'll be very frank, a lot of people who live in the English suburbs would be literally shocked to have to see the prices of property here versus the prices of property there with all the facilities. And mind you, they get they get the water, the electricity, the gas. It's pretty expensive paying the bills, and the taxes are high. There's no doubt about that. But when you talk about the price of property, I think some of them are shocked when they hear the prices here, especially the ones from America, because in UK property prices are pretty high. But when you talk about America, the property prices in the suburbs, they compete with.
Yeah. I mean, some of those properties are $1 million.
Yes, it does.
Yeah. 4-bedroom apartment now in Karachi is $1 million in a good place.
In some places,
who would have thought?
Who would have thought? Yes.
So look, there is investment, there is hope, but again,
but you know what they want to do? They want to take out that investment and put it in another country.
Yes, yes.
And that is where a lot of people like you are willing to help them, because that's the only way they feel they can escape this country. They put their money in another country, another place, another investment, buy a flat abroad or whatever.
Yeah. Look, I mean, I'm a lawyer, right? And I've got lawyer friends who do that, right? And I don't see anything immoral about it whatsoever, because it's your money. So long as you've earned it legally, you've paid your taxes on it, you paid your tax on it, you can do what you like with it. But I would say, well, why don't you think about bringing it, for whatever tax reasons that you're having it abroad, why don't you have some of it here? Why don't we invest some of it here? And that's the encouragement we need for investors to do that.
I'm left with very, very little time here.
Okay.
But there are situations, because I'd like to talk to you again. I don't know for how long you're here in Karachi, but I'd love to see you once again in let's say a fortnight's time, because it was really wonderful talking to you.
Thank you.
And there's another scenario also, which a lot of people have started sending questions via social media while we were talking, and they say, can't we have best of both worlds, countries that allow for dual citizenship? Because Pakistan allows for dual citizenship. It does create a lot of challenges, but it's there. But they're saying you didn't talk about that. We'll talk about it, don't worry. We just have 30-35 minutes in every program, so we'd like to talk about the stuff that we can, and what we're left with, we leave it for another program. I hope you enjoyed today.
I did indeed. Thank you very much.
I really enjoyed, because I think that you brought a lot of rational arguments on the table. It was really nice having you on the show, Mr. Ivan Sampson. He is an international global immigration lawyer, and he's with Healy's, which is a pretty popular company, and he helps you get abroad, and he's very keen on understanding and finding ways and suggesting a lot of ways how we should also have an investment program in Pakistan. नाज़रीन, यहाँ पर प्रोग्राम का वक्त ख़त्म हुआ, चाहता है आपने मेरे ख्याल से बड़ा एंजॉय किया होगा, मुझे भी आपकी तरह बड़ा मज़ा आया। हमारे सोशल मीडिया के जो पते हैं वो आपके सामने हर बुलेटिन के बाद दिखाई देंगे, उनके ऊपर अपने पैगामात ज़रूर अरसाल कीजिएगा। मैं कोशिश करूँगा आइवान साहब को दोबारा से बुलाऊँ, वो बहुत सारी चीज़ें ऐसी हैं मेरे जहन के अंदर, कुछ उभरते हुए सवालात हैं जिनके जवाबात इनसे ज़रूर लेना चाहूँगा। आज के प्रोग्राम का वक्त ख़त्म हुआ, चाहता है अली नासिर को टीम को इजाज़त दीजिए। अल्लाह हाफ़िज़।